People notice a healthy smile, but maybe you have tooth sensitivity, bleeding gums, or acid-weakened enamel. Sensodyne, Parodontax, and Pronamel are trusted specialty toothpastes created to help improve your oral health. For tooth sensitivity, choose Sensodyne. Bleeding gums, get Parodontax. For acid-weakened enamel, Pronamel is the toothpaste for you. Sensodyne, Parodontax, and Pronamel. Trusted specialty toothpastes to help bring home your healthy smile. Visit Ibotta to earn cash back.
The Cricket Badger Podcast IPL Daily, in association with Moonrise Cricket. Indian Premier League 2020 13th edition. Every day, every game, every spill, every thrill, every triumph, all the way to the IPL trophy.
Hello everybody, welcome along. It's another edition of the IPL Daily. Poor old Kolkata Knight Riders, they were never at the races today. RCB on top all the way through that match, probably the most one-sided game that we've had in IPL 2020. Kolkata Knight Riders 84 for 8 from their 20 overs. RCB sauntered home. It was a stroll in the park, 13 and a half overs in, and they passed it with only 2 wickets down. I'm joined to talk about that game and then to look ahead till tomorrow's fixtures by Clare Sanderson, Anand Bhika and Naman Shah. Naman, we'll start with you because you're our KKR man, and I apologise in advance for this because 84 for 8, Naman, it must have been quite tough to watch that one today.
Very much, James, but it's also sometimes in such situations a reality check is always benefited, especially going into the business end. But yes, this will hurt, but it will only make them stronger. Few players out there, at least Shubman Gill, I was disappointed with that shot attempted by him after 2 quick wickets in a single over. The wicket was not ball was not coming onto the bat, and they were really bowling nicely. So he should have stayed there. Players like him is expected a lot from him, and also like Dinesh Karthik, I totally feel that he's out of form and he's not able to play on such wickets. Also, you saw Bishop mentioned over there, he has been out by the leg spinners 4 times in 9 matches, so he's not at all looking confident. Overall, yes, disappointing, but also I felt new ball should have been bowled by Ferguson. First 3 overs Morgan should have gone to him because Cummins is really struggling. I mean, 2-3 wickets in 10 matches is not at all acceptable from Cummins. I guess maybe 10 for 2, 10 for 3 would have at least given some fight, but I guess they missed the trick totally.
And looking at the table, Naman, Kolkata in 4th place. They've been in 4th place, it seems to be, from the majority of this tournament. 10 points from 10 games. They're starting to run out of steam a little bit, aren't they? They've got a whole gaggle of teams coming up on their shoulders. If SRH win tomorrow, they go to just 2 points behind them. If Rajasthan Royals win tomorrow, they go level on points. In fact, they'll go above KKR on net run rate if RR wins. So with 4 games left, you can't afford to have too many more. Well, you can't afford to have any more performances like that, can you?
Not at all. And in fact, the reason I feel is that they are heavily dependent on Russell and somewhat also on Narayan. Both the players are sitting out in the dugout, and also the foreign players have not been that effective as what is expected from them. And also, some changes what they are making is really not understandable. Like Shivam Mavi has been their highest wicket taker and bringing in Prasidh Krishna every alternate match just for the sake of bringing. This is not going to really help because they are failing to take wickets in the first 6 overs. So they really need to figure out. And yes, if it will be good if Russell is fit in the next matches, and there is no room for error from now on. They'll have to play their best game.
Bodyline TShirts.com. Browse the finest collection of cricketing t-shirts on the web. Hundreds of original cricket designs for cricket players and fans alike, featuring everyone and everything from Larwood to Leach and Cow Corner to chin music at BodylineTshirts.com. And you can get 10% off your first order using the code BADGER at checkout. BodylineTshirts.com. T-shirts for the discerning cricket fan. We've been joined on the line as well by our Sunrisers Hyderabad fan, Neil Virani. And Neil, we spoke last night about SRH hoping that, looking at the results of the other games and hoping that maybe KKR had points taken out of them. And it's worked out quite nicely for Sunrisers. We'll talk about that game tomorrow in just a second, but it's not unsurmountable now. If KKR had won today and gone to 12 points, it would have been a problem for the teams lower down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And that's when the other teams might start to drop their heads, which you seem to see a little bit with Chennai recently. But with KKR stumbling quite badly there, then it means that other teams know it's still within their own hands, and that can provide the extra bit of motivation that might make the difference on the day.
And Claire, you're another one with KKR in your sights there with Kings 11 Punjab, your side. 8 points now on the board for KXIP, just 2 points behind fourth place, and good result for Kings 11 today as well, wasn't it? KKR still in range.
Yeah, I guess, every game now is crucial for those teams at the bottom of the table, like we've said for a while. I guess if, like Kings 11, they've beaten the top lot, they've just got to beat the bottom half of the table. So for them, it's a really interesting position to be in. But everything to play for every match down there, really. So today's match was a bit of a flop, really, in terms of the games that we've seen so far. But in terms of keeping it all exciting, fighting for that fourth position, yeah, it keeps it all wide open, doesn't it?
Anand and I were talking before pressing record about the fact that we haven't had many one-sided games in this tournament, really. And today stands out as like a sore thumb, really, is off the back of a very exciting weekend and some final over thrillers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, was it Monday that there was a bit of a calmer game, I think, as well, after the thrill of the weekend?
Yeah, we needed that, though, didn't we?
We did. We needed the cool-off period. But this one, it just quickly sort of faded away. Nothing really stands out. It was, obviously a clinical performance by the RCB bowlers, and then they just knocked off the runs. We haven't seen many like that this season. We won't see too many more.
And I turned on the TV. I was a little bit late to it today. I turned on the TV and KKR are already 15 for 4. It was one of those games today. There wasn't even any sense that KKR were going to get something from that today, was it? They were on the ropes from the start and never really got themselves off them.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the way Siraj started off and then Saini followed up. So you had, 4 wickets in the first 4 overs? And one of the batters who has been actually rock solid, Shubman Gill, he lost his wicket to trying to go for a pull after already losing a couple of wickets in the first over. So it was an interesting approach followed by KKR. I also think the bowling was pretty good. So, kudos to Siraj. I mean, if somebody gets 4 overs, 2 maidens, 8 runs and 3 wickets, that's good across any format of cricket, right? But in T20, more so. I mean, that's a match-winning performance to me.
I know Naman was critical of Shubman Gill and the shot he played. You've just kind of hinted at it there. But really, after watching England play an awful lot, that's how in Morgan style of cricket, isn't it? You lose a couple of wickets, you hit yourself out of trouble. You don't take the foot off the gas.
That's a fair point, and certainly England has got a lot of success playing that way. However, if you look at Shubman Gill, he's made about 300-odd runs in this format, and his strike rate is 111. So this is, while he's growing into being a fantastic batsman, he's not the most explosive guy around. So after you lose the first couple of wickets, you would think that maybe Gill consolidates. Certainly makes sense. If you had the quality of Stokes, Buttler, right behind you, then Morgan could probably go hell to the leather. And I think that really works for the English team. But here, I think maybe the batting depth, not so much, especially with Russell being out. So maybe just a reevaluation of that approach would have been good.
Even for the England team, it doesn't work all the time. So, I'm a great believer that you have to consolidate in games. And KKR never looked like doing that today. Moonrise is a sports engagement website to allow sports fans to learn from the very best. Get a personal video message recorded for a fan's special occasion. Have a professional cricketer as your next coach by getting video feedback or having a 30-minute conversation with some of the world's best players. Players such as Jimmy Neesham, Colin Munro, Tammy Beaumont, Danny Wyatt, Monty Panesar. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket, let's play. Let's have a look at our Moonrise moments of the match. And we've had a few games just recently, in a few days just recently, where we have had plenty of contenders. Today, we're a little short on the ground, aren't we, really, in terms of star quality and fantastic moments. But start with you, Neil. Where would you take us for the Moonrise moment of the match today?
I'm going to go with Padikkal wicket because I always love it when two batsmen end up at the same end. It's just absolutely hilarious.
There's a mean streak in you, isn't there?
South African.
There's a mean streak in you.
A little bit, maybe, but under absolutely no pressure and finally striking at a decent strike rate. I'm not entirely sure what young Devdutt was doing there. It was never going to affect the result, but he could have put on a good 40 runs. As it is, I think the 25 in quick time will do him some good because he's been struggling a little bit of late. But yeah, it's always funny to see two batsmen at the same end.
I mean, the small mercies, but anybody with Pat Cummins in their fantasy team at least gets the run-out points for that because you're getting precious few others from Pat Cummins at the moment. And to be honest, Gurpreet Singh, I don't think it was his fault, the run-out, but he did really quite nicely, didn't he, to compose himself. And yeah, obviously Virat Kohli came out there and kept him company, but to be 21 not out, that's going to do him no harm either as RCB move forward. Claire, what about you for the Moonrise moment today?
I guess those two wickets in succession by Siraj up top, which kind of set the tone for the rest of the match. Two good balls, two good wickets. And a brilliant performance by him. So that he would get my vote. 4
overs, 2 maidens, 3 wickets for 8 runs for Siraj today, and quite rightly named by the adjudicators as the player of the match, because that spell that he did just completely rocked KKR, and they never got themselves back again. Now, man, Moonrise moment for you.
Yeah, it has to be Siraj, but just to be a bit different, I guess the phase of play where Chahal and Sundar were bowling in tandem, and the way Chahar was playing around with Pat Cummins and the final ball in which he got out, when he bowled that loopy delivery outside the off stump and he went for a slog, I think it was more of a cat and mouse, and I was loving that particular game because Cummins from there on, after he had hit 150 a match ago. If he could have stayed there and he had gone for more than 30 or 40 runs, he would have scored, and maybe the total could have been a bit more. So I guess that phase I was loving it. So I guess that is the moment for me.
I love Yuzvendra Chahal. Those loopy balls that you just mentioned outside the off stump where he just throws them up there and tempts the batsman. And the amount of wickets he gets with that delivery. And I quite like him as well. I just look at him. He's always got a smile on his face. He looks like a stiff breeze would blow him over. But he's got got real heart for the RCB cause. I really like him as a player. Anand, your Moonrise moment today.
So if I had to pick a moment that did not include Siraj, I think the most important moment was really Washington Sundar's bowling to Morgan. Somehow Washington Sundar does not seem to give batters the length to hit him off there. And Morgan was the only person who looked like who could actually do something. So Morgan was on 30 runs. If Morgan gets going, watch out because balls are going to be peppered into the stands. And Washington Sundar, again, did not give him that length and he was caught. So I think just that moment really changed the match as well.
Yeah, he just took a little bit of pace off as well, didn't he? And just foxed Morgan enough to take his wicket. The adjudication's really easy today, isn't it? It is really easy. You've given me a little bit of a variety in your nominations, and thank you for doing that. But the Moonrise moment of the match today, Mohammad Siraj, his spell was just outstanding. Want to get your game the very best it can be? The future of coaching. Talk to a pro. 30-minute video conversation. Video analysis from players at the top of their game. Video shout-outs. Get a personalised message from a pro. Great for birthdays, congratulations messages, a prank, or a simple hello. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket. Let's play. Let's have a look ahead to tomorrow's game then. There are not too many matches left. I was doing something today with the fixture list, and looking down that fixture list, as we're running out of group games, we're soon going to be in the playoffs, and this IPL is flying by, and the next game on our list is the Rajasthan Royals against the Sunrisers Hyderabad. This is a really interesting game, isn't it? If we look at the table before we actually have a look at this fixture, the revised table after today's game, Delhi Capitals and RCB now 14 points, and I think 2 feet in the playoffs already. Mumbai Indians, Neil Anand's side, have a little bit to do yet, but I think they're just about there. KKR got a lot to do. But Rajasthan Royals won their last game. They're on 8 points. Sunrisers are on 6 points with a game less played. So, Neil, start with you on this one. Sunrisers, you look at that. They've got 5 games left. I'm thinking 14 points to qualify. That effectively means they need to win 4 of the 5. There's no margin for error now, is there?
Absolutely not. I think of those 5 games, we need to play Mumbai again. That will be the toughest game. I'd really be targeting the other 4. There's no time for tinkering with the lineup. We've just got to be absolutely certain of our game plan and the matchups, and pick from the 12 or 13 players who we consider to be part of our strongest squad. And whoever matches up best there, be picking those. I think we are low down the table, but actually our net run rate is the 3rd best, which suggests that we haven't been that far away. There's a super over just now. There have been a couple of other very close games that we've just lost. We haven't been that far from winning a number of those games that we did lose. So there's still a glimmer of hope there.
If Sunrisers win tomorrow, they will, as you say, with the net run rate they've got, they'll go above KXIP into 5th place, with KXIP, Rajasthan Royals and the Sunrisers all having played 10 and on 8 points. It's going to be, and queuing up behind KKR to overtake them. It's really exciting now, Neil, isn't it? There's no team. I mean, CSK, I'm starting to count them out. But apart from that, any of the other 7 still got claims on a playoff place.
Yeah, it's whoever hits form at the right time, which at the moment looks like Punjab. But over the next few games, all you need to do is scrape home by hook or by crook. I'll be quite happy to get a load of runs off the edge and the back of the bats if it gets us over the line. But just make sure you keep your head and squeeze past.
Badgers are furry creatures. 85% of women badgers think bad grooming is a major turn-off. 80% of women badgers think men should trim below the belt. 89% of men think good grooming is essential to their professional success. Don't just dismiss it out of hand. Get on there, manscaped.com. Check out their great range of male grooming accessories. Hygiene, appearance, attractiveness, confidence. Simply go to manscaped.com, quote the discount code BADGER. You get 20% off, you get free shipping, and you get some seriously quality equipment. Manscaped.com. Together we save balls. Claire, looking at where Kings 11 are on the table, as I said, if Sunrisers win tomorrow, they'll go obviously only on net run rate above them in the table. When you're looking at fixtures like this now, Rajasthan Royals against the Sunrisers Hyderabad, are you looking at the table and thinking who you prefer to win and hoping for a rain cloud, which is very unlikely in the UAE, I know, but how do you want this one to go?
Well, I mean, I thought it was really interesting what Neil just said, like talking about scraping home as you can, take the runs where you can get them, and Mumbai being the sort of biggest threat. Because from my perspective, of course, KXIP are winning games now, and they're winning, the performance is improving all the time. They've already beaten Mumbai, so their trajectory, if you like, is going up. Whereas everybody else is kind of clinging on and scrapping about. So I thought that was really interesting, just to hear that from Neil's perspective. But I guess looking at the points in the table, it'd be nice to see Sunrisers win so that, Rajasthan don't jump above it, and it just keeps it all a bit more interesting. It'd be nice to see Johnny Bairstow, Kane Williamson get a few runs. Always is. Yorkshire boys,
Yeah, you can't get through a podcast without mentioning that, can you? Anand.
Nope, absolutely not.
Anand, Mumbai Indians, I know we did a podcast recently which Neil was on, where we asked if it wasn't going to be your team, who would it be? And Mumbai Indians was pretty much everybody's answer. Balanced side, doing really well, not too many fault lines in their setup, but they can't. They're not home and hosed in terms of this playoff race, and obviously the race for the top two is kind of almost the next thing on our agenda, isn't it? Once we start to think about who the top four are, who are going to be the top two, with the seedings that make it their journey to the final maybe a little bit easier. How are you looking at these fixtures and thinking in terms of Mumbai's position in the table in third?
I think this is sort of the critical moment for Mumbai Indians, right? Because Delhi Capitals and RCB both have looked pretty strong, and now's really the time to put your foot down and really come up with a coordinated performance. Mumbai is going to play CSK next. So with the way CSK has been going, while it's been sad to see how some of the legends of the game have been playing, I think that Mumbai is probably in a good place to actually get the next win as well. And then with the net run rate, Mumbai is actually in a pretty good spot. So the key really is how do you move forward from here? I think Ishan Kishan might be injured, and then there is a need to figure out whether it's Pattinson or Nathan Coulter-Nile to be that third pacer. So I'm curious how it goes forward, but it certainly looks like Mumbai is in a decent position right now.
We'll finish with you, Naman, on today's show. KKR will be in the dressing room now, absolutely desperately disappointed with their performance today. If you could go in that dressing room and kind of take over from Owen Morgan and give them a little bit of a pep talk, what would you tell them now? How would you deal with them if you were in charge of KKR's dressing room at the moment?
I would really ask all the boys to forget today's match and just do the basics right, just to stick to their strength and just do not think more and look up to Punjab as an inspiration. In the last three matches, they have beaten RCB, Mumbai and Delhi. So it's not that it's not possible. Just they need to stick to their good playing 11 and not just make random changes. And yes, it is possible. It's not just that the game is over and it's no longer going to be a high scoring game. They have good bowling attack. It's 150s and 160s. So they just need to play good 20 overs and the anchor innings should Morgan Gill needs to take responsibility a bit more. And yes, I feel the game is not yet over. The business end has just started and it's going to be more fun from now on.
It's going to be more fun from now on. If there's ever a nice way to finish a podcast, it was with those words. And I've just counted up while you were talking then, Naman, I've counted up how many group games there are left in this tournament. 17. And then the playoffs. So we've got a little bit left of the IPL dailies and the IPL excitement as we go through the rest of the activity in the UAE. 4 of you today. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you to Claire, to Anand, to Naman and to Neil. And thank you to you all for listening as well in your ever-increasing numbers. Keep tuned in and join us every single day on the IPL Daily. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. Join us every day throughout IPL 2020. Follow us on Twitter at cricket_badger. Join in the fun. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Worried about keeping up with your fave friends all summer? Or posting every perfectly pink sunset you see? Don't sweat the Connect. You can have it made in the shade with 4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month. Scroll the staycation pics, find your new go-to takeout spot, or catch some rays on video chat. Whatever you and the crew are into, all the data makes it all that much better. Smile. You're on Cricket.
Cricket Core acquired on 4 lines. Data speed limited to 3 megabits per second. Cricket may slow data speeds when the network is busy. Additional fees, usage, and restrictions apply.